What's up, word warriors? I know that it's been a minute since I made a new video in the Alchemic scripting series, and I'm actually getting a really good response on it. People are contacting me, so I want to go ahead. I'm going to start trying to keep up a little bit better with this. I am happy to announce the reason that I haven't been making the videos is I've been busy on the manuscript that I told you about. I Evolve. And the rough draft is done. So if we want to go back over the things that I've discussed up until this point, when I say the rough draft, I mean the plot and the dialogue is there. So the story's written. It's a little over 300 pages, 24 chapters. So I took my outline that I generated and took that concept to each chapter. So each chapter was definitely written with intention, which you will find out really makes the writing go a lot faster when you already kind of know what you're trying to say and do with the story when you go to sit down. I don't really recommend sitting down at your keyboard with no intention. A lot of times it's going to lock you up. So today, the topic of this video is going to be a little tidbit on knowing when to pull back. So there's a push and pull when you're writing a novel. You do all the preliminary, outlining, world building, and all of that initially before you're going to start writing the story. Then you've got to write the story. And when you get that first draft written, after you've allowed yourself to stream of consciousness, going from the cuff, going from the heart, what you need to do is pull back when the last page, the last line, the last word is written. And before you start editing and laying in the next level, remember I talked about building your story in layers. And layer number one, write it almost like a movie script, pure dialogue, the action of the story. Layer number two is going to be your descriptions, cross-checking your reference material, making sure you've got the best descriptions possible, and layering in the world building. This is where if you're a science fiction, fantasy writer, you're going to want to go in and turn and explain your world to the reader in the most dynamic and understandable way as possible, but you're not forcing it on them. You know, when you're a fantasy sci-fi author, you do have to learn the art of a little bit of information at a time so that the reader is not overwhelmed with the world building part of it. So that's actually what I'm doing right now. And I got to chapter 5. And see, with the world building, I have my initial ideas, but it isn't until I actually write the story now that I can kind of start really piecing things together. So I got to about chapter 5 and I went, my setting was not fully, I had all of these concepts that I had come up with. And I know how I work now, so I go and I write the story from that. But then the glue that binds it all together was actually the last piece to come to me. And so instead of continuing to edit the story and figuring it out as I go, no, I have learned you don't want to do that. When you get a new concept, you need to work everything out. So you got to pull back from the writing and push the idea further, the concept further. I like to work on, scrap pieces of paper. There's something about using my hand. I get away from the computer at this point. There's a playfulness. It is essential that you allow yourself this playful interaction with the pieces of your story and to not stress out about it, to remain open to the imagination, because these ideas will all start really clicking together for you. So you pull back from the writing part and you push your concept to the next level. So it's a push and pull. And once you have now figured all out that you can at that point, you dive back into the manuscript, and you might push and pull, a dozen times before the book is the best that it can be. So my stage number 2 is continuing on. I had one piece of world building left that I am so excited about this. It really has brought it all together. So now I need to, right now I'm working on that. I'm doing sketches and having a really good time with it and figuring it all out. And then I'll start back at chapter 1 and work that part into the story. It's just an addition. I'm not taking anything out. I prefer to build my stories. I like to flesh them out in these layers, as opposed to writing a bunch of jumble and then shaving it off and editing it down. I work in the reverse of that. There's something really engaging about working this way, because I've worked both ways. And the writing a whole bunch and then cutting and chopping and pasting, it just feels like I'm uncreating the story. Whereas the way that I'm doing it, where I'm building the layers, I'm not taking things out, I'm adding things, feels like just this creative masterpiece at the end, because I just keep building on what's already there. It's just a different feeling as a writer. And you can find whichever way works best for you. Like I said, these are just my insights as a writer on my journey that I want to share. And I am encouraged by some of the messages that I'm getting from writers out there that are really appreciating this. That's why I'm doing it. It's really exciting when you can learn to just enjoy the process. I love having that goal of publication, the excitement that's behind it, the fantasy that can go with it. It'll get turned into a movie, you know, just all of that part is really fun to fantasize and daydream about. But at the end of the day, what drives me to my keyboard and has my imagination so captivated is just the joy of being a creator and creating my own playground with language, you know, in black and white, for others to also go on that journey with me, to be able to sweep somebody into my imagination. It's a great way to spend your life. I am thoroughly enjoying it, and I hope that all of you are busy developing your own unique world, whatever that is, with its own unique message to give to the reader, and the joy that that brings you, and then will bring another through that connection that you make. I hope that these little tidbits that I give you help you on your journey. And if you have any of your own, please feel free to post them below. If you have a video response on something that you're working for, I'd really like to get more online interaction in regards to this. So anyway, I hope this message finds you well, and happy writing.